Hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are going to be talking about a very important topic in the e-commerce space today, which is creating viral e-commerce content. We are joined by Fire.fly, who are specialists in this field, and they will be talking about uh, creating content in the different social media platforms that we have and how to generally look at creating content. So great, let's get started. We will circulate the video at the end of the program today. And any questions you have, you can reach out to Fire.fly directly. You see their website as well as the email on this slide here. And of course, any questions about Zoho Commerce, please reach out to us at Zoho Commerce on social media and zoho.com/commerce. So have a good time listening in, and we will take your questions at the end of the program. Thank you so much.
We are a startup, started last year, and we are working with a lot of people from across age groups, like whether it's kids to adults to anybody. So we create and curate cross-disciplinary practices and techniques to enable and empower people to lead creative and compassionate lives. So our focus is very much on how we can lead creative lives, because technology will keep changing, every day and every year and every minute probably. But how can you actually develop the mindset to learn and unlearn and relearn? So we work on these practices, and we do a lot of workshops as well. A little bit about us. I am Sejal Lalwani, and I'm born and brought up Bangalore. I studied journalism, psychology, and English literature, and then I went on to do my postgraduate in radio and television journalism. After that, that was around 2014, where everything was actually going digital. So I got into digital advertising. I went with the wave, and I joined HCL as a digital marketer, and then I got into LinkedIn. So in LinkedIn is where I actually met Tarun. So, and then later we co-founded our company, but we both were in the same team, and we were there for almost about 3 years, where we actually helped a lot of clients run hiring campaigns. So we were very, very specific in the hiring field on getting talent. So LinkedIn Talent Solutions. And after LinkedIn, I moved on to Deloitte Digital because I wanted to do some product experience. So I got to work on some products and as a product manager. So after Deloitte Digital is when we quit our jobs and took on this journey with Fire.fly. So, Tarun, tell us about that yourself.
Hello, everybody. I am Tarun Jagderi. I'm a Bangalorean, and I've done my MBA from Bassett. Just before I got into my MBA program, I was with Flipkart, and Flipkart was a very young company back then. Like there were probably around 500, 600 people. And if you ordered anything electronics from Flipkart between 2011 and 2012, I would have forecasted and I would have procured the items for you. Creating viral content. Okay. So yeah, how many of you seen this meme? I'm sure most of you have seen this meme, unless you are living under a rock, right? So this is one of the most popular memes ever. And it's also very funny, right? Like it's actually a stock photo which people started using as memes by just editing it, by putting text like this, and it says so many things, right? Like it can be political, it can be comic, it can be a lot of different things, and you can use it anywhere, right? It's also pretty funny, right? So what we'll do today is we'll look at popular trends like this, and we'll learn how things can go viral because of these trends. Okay. And what do you have to do as an e-commerce or a e-commerce player in the market? What do you have to do to make sure that your content is very engaging and it goes viral? Okay. So this was something that went viral a few years ago, I guess. And so I can this is the black dress or the white dress thing. I can only see it as golden and white, whereas Cecil can only see it in black and blue, right? So there's a poll that comes up. Quickly tell me, how many of you see what? Do you see it as white and golden, or do you see it as black and blue? So you have a minute. So quickly tell us, what color do you see? Okay. this was very popular back then. A lot of us, like, I think I was in Yahoo at that time, and everybody was going crazy over this, this viral content, and everybody was like, I see white and gold, you see black and blue. How is that possible? It's like a divide. It's like cat or mouse. Like it's like cat and dogs, or it's like two complete binaries, right? So I see a lot of people, a lot of you answering. 87% of you see it as white and gold at this point. But black and royal blue is catching up at 16%. We'll give it like 30 more seconds to see where we finally reach. This is exciting. This is like this is like a race between two raindrops on a windowsill to see which reaches the top first. Okay, white and gold is still doing really good at 85%. Black and royal blue is finally at 14%. Cool. So amazing. Thanks for taking this poll. We clearly see that a lot of people are seeing it as white and gold, 85%, which is a overwhelming majority. Says alive in.
But it's actually black and gold.
Yeah, see, again, we are arguing about whether it's black and gold, white and gold, or black and blue. Cool, amazing, right? So we'll look at trends like these to see how you can create your content. Okay, let's just jump into it. Okay, so how do things catch on? What is virality, right? We looked at a meme, right? So memes are things that kind of go viral. And meme comes from gene, like MEMEGENE, right? So genes are kind of things that kind of go viral among the gene pool, but memes are things that go viral on the popular culture on the internet, right? So yeah, let's move on. So what we'll do today is we'll look at 7 tips, quick 7 tips that you can use for your e-commerce content, that you can use for any content, like be it social media, be it anywhere, which will help you make your content go viral. Okay, let's just jump into the first one. Okay, how many of you know this lady here? Yeah, she's very infamous for that song "Selfie Maine Le Li Aaj," but yeah, she is, she's pretty famous for just infamous or famous for just that one meme. And she's always saying one thing: "Selfie Maine Le Li Aaj," and she goes on and on and on and repeats that over the whole song. Right? It's kind of annoying, but she's popular. Okay, let's look at another example. So recently I had to buy a laptop, and I went online and I saw a description like this. It said Dell Inspiron, 4th generation, Intel Core i5. It's giving me like tons and tons of technical information. And I was like, okay, I don't really know what I want here, right? Like there's so much information. But then I was again Googling it, and then I could see that there was another ad from another company, another laptop maker, and it was like this. Okay, it was very simple. It said the world's thinnest notebook, MacBook Air, and you can also see that you can fit it in an envelope, right? That's how thin it is. Compared to the Dell example where they told me all the technical specifications, this made more sense to me because I really wanted stuff which I can carry in my hand. I really wanted something which is light and not too heavy because I'm roaming around the city, going to meetings here and there. So this made more sense. And the only thing they said was, this is the world's thinnest notebook, nothing else. But Dell was telling me 100 other things, right? So this is what really sold though. Like I bought a MacBook Air. I'm doing this on a MacBook Air right now. So this is what I got, right? So the example that I wanted to tell here was, you have to keep your content simple, right? Be it Dinchak Puja, be it Mac Airbook, right? Apple Airbook, right? So both of them are doing the same thing. I know I'm comparing Dinchak Puja with Apple, which is kind of ironic, but they're doing the exact same thing. They're keeping it very simple. Dinchak Puja is going selfie maine le li aaj the whole time. MacBook Air is saying, it's just the thinnest laptop ever, right? So keep your content simple, okay? So the first tip for going viral is you have to keep your content simple. If you look at any of the other examples, any of the memes also, right? It's simple. It's not complicated. You don't have to spend your energy. You don't have to think too much. You just have to keep it simple, okay? Okay, let's just jump into the next point. Okay, so I mean, this is a familiar scene, right? Like I'm sure most of you have been on airplanes, and I know it's kind of a difficult thing to imagine right now, but a few months ago we were doing this very often, but now it seems like maybe a miracle should happen to make this happen. But anyway, you're sitting on a plane, you're looking out of the window, and it's probably reading a book or listening to music, but then you suddenly see at the back of the seat in ahead of you, you see an image like this, right? It's kind of shocking because it looks like the person sitting ahead of you has got his hands tied back behind the seat. But in fact, it's actually an ad. It's actually a campaign for going against violence. Victims are people just like you and me. That's what it says. It's by this organization called ACAT, and they want to prevent violence. They want to prevent domestic violence, violence of all sorts, right? So that's what they're saying. And this image hits you hard, right? You didn't expect this. You didn't expect to see an image like this behind some airplane seat, right? So yeah, let's look at another example here. This was another paper dispenser, and you see that the more paper you use, what really happens is the whole of the South American continent gets drained out by the time you run out of the paper tissues, right? That's because most of the paper comes from the Amazon forest, right? And Amazon forest is like rapidly depleting right now because of climate change, a lot of different issues, and they wanted to bring this to your notice to save the paper and to save the planet. The less paper you use, the more you'll save the planet, right? So these are examples of content which are very unexpected. Don't you think so? Like, it kind of took you by shock, especially the airplane example, wherein you didn't expect to see that. The same thing with the paper dispenser. You didn't expect to drain out the South American continent by just using paper, right? But they drive a message. They use they use a twist in the story, but they drive a very strong message. I don't think I'll ever forget these ads just because it's unexpected. So yeah, the second tip is keep it unexpected, keep a slight twist. Don't make it too much of a shocker. Don't don't be shock people off, but keep it like a slight twist that'll keep your content very handy. Yeah. We'll move on to the next one. Yeah. So our third example is this ad, right? I'm sure a lot of you would have seen this ad, and whenever I see this ad, a tone comes to my head, and the tone is "You and I in this beautiful world," right? Like it's a very catchy tune. It's a very popular song that that's stuck in my head. I think I've seen this ad like I don't know, maybe 10 years, 15 years ago, but I can still sing that song like verbatim, right? And that happens whenever I see the pug, whenever I see the boy running through fields, green fields, and song automatically comes to my head. Okay. So this is one example. Let me show you another example. A lot of brands have taglines, right? Like Nike with the swoosh has "Just do it" as the tagline. McDonald's has "I'm loving it." Pepsi has "Ye hai Youngistan Meri Jaan," right? It's a very catchy tune. It's a very catchy tagline, and that's what you'll remember it from. Like even if I take off all the brand logos and the names, if I just put it as "Just do it," you'll know it's Nike's. If I even just put it as "I'm loving it," it's not just it's McDonald's. Even if I don't have the logo of McDonald's, the M there, if I just put it "Ye hai Youngistan Meri Jaan," you'll know it's Pepsi, right? So that's what brands have been doing forever, wherein they have a catchy tagline, right? So be it tunes, be it song, be it music or taglines, you need to keep your content catchy. You need to keep it catchy so people can remember it. Especially when you see hundreds and hundreds of brands, maybe thousands of brands on a daily basis, it's very important to stand out in the eyes of your users so that they remember it. And you can use all these things, like you can use music, you can use video, you can use whatnot, like you can use catchy lines like this to keep your content catchy. Okay. So again, what are the three tips we looked at? The first one was keep it simple, have an unexpected plot or a twist in your content, and also keep it catchy. Okay. We'll move on to the next examples. Okay. So when we were working at LinkedIn, we saw this board very recently, very often in our cafeteria. And what it says is, take all you can eat, but eat all you take. Yesterday's wastage was 45 kgs. I'm sure you've seen boards like this in workplaces, in places where you work, where they have cafeterias, and it's what it's saying is, don't waste food, eat how much you can. And yesterday's wastage was 45 kgs. Now I know 45 kgs is, yeah, more than 40 kgs, less than 50 kgs. But what does 45 kgs actually mean? In fact, the whole board actually read like this. It just didn't say 45 kgs. It also said those 45 kgs of food can feed 180 people. Now that makes sense, right? Like, I know 180 people is a lot of people, right? Like, I don't think I know 180 people's names in my life, right? That's a lot of people. Now that makes more sense. I will be more careful as to not waste food anymore, right? So that was a good message. Just a few months ago, I think it was winter sometime, I think December sometime, and I read it in the newspaper that Delhi has an air quality index of 348. So what is 348? 348 is less than 340, more than 340, less than 350. But what is 348? It doesn't say it's a kg. It doesn't say anything much, right? But then after Googling, I came to know that Delhi is 40 times more polluted than Bangalore. And Bangalore is something I know. I've lived here a lot of my life, and I know Bangalore's pollution levels, and I breathe in the air in and out. And if I have to imagine 40 times more polluted than Bangalore's air, that's really polluted, right? So this makes more sense than the air quality index, right? So the idea here is to keep your content that kind of connects with your audience. Understand what your audience wants to know, understand where your audience come from, and connect it to something. Like, say for example, let's say you're selling t-shirts, and probably your biggest audience are teenagers and young adults. Now you have to keep it according to their wishes and needs, right? Like, if you can't say something like, it's these are the most durable, because they don't really care whether it's durable or not. They want to make it stylish and catchy, right? So just make sure that you adapt your content for your audience's needs. Yeah, so then again, the 7 tips for virality are: keep it simple, keep it unexpected, have a catchy element, and make sure it connects with your audience. We'll jump into the next one. How many of you remember this ad? It's a very, very popular ad from, I think, the 90s, and it's Cadbury's, and Cadbury's has had such amazing ads since ages. And in the ad, you see that this really young lady, she is eating Cadbury's. She's anticipating, it's a cricket match that she's watching, and she's anticipating, like, whether the team will win or not. And then finally, when the batsman scores a six, she jumps out of her seat, and she's really happy, and she's dancing, and she jumps onto the ground, and she goes to the batsman, she hugs him, right? So, like, you see a range of emotions from anticipation and all the way to joy, happiness, and finally love, right? So this is something which is very close to humans and Indians specifically, because cricket is like our religion, right? So this is one ad as an example, and I'm sure you also see this winking girl video, right? I'm sure you've seen this. I think a year or two ago, it went really, really crazy. So I have a quick question here. You'll get a poll. You answer it on the poll. What do you feel when you see this image? When you see this girl winking at you, what do you feel? Do you feel nostalgic about your college days? Do you feel romantic about your first crush or your love? Or do you just skip a beat? Like, I definitely skipped a beat when I first saw this, because it's so engaging, the whole video. It's going back to your college days, and it's the first love, the reactions the girl gives, the reactions the boy give. It's actually very priceless, right? And we see a lot of results on the poll. A lot of people are saying, 43% of people at this point are saying romantic memories of a first love or crush. Then there is equal votes for you skipped your heartbeat and nostalgic to college days. So yeah, these are some really good responses. Cool. We'll quickly. We're still seeing some movement. Yeah, people are still voting. Let's just give them. Yeah, okay, we're done. We are done, and we'll just publish the results. You can see what most people said, but most people said they feel romantic memories of their first love or crush, right? So yeah, this is again a very, very popular, or very, very content that went viral just a year or two ago. And why do you think it went viral? It went viral because of a very simple reason. These are emotional stories. Be it the Cadbury's ad or this winking girl, right? It elicits some sort of an emotion in you, be it happiness, joy, sadness, whatnot. But no, when you have an emotional story, it really brings out people's emotions, and that's what makes your content more credible because they have an emotional connect to it instead of just just any random connection, right? So try to have stories which have an emotional story in them. Try to keep your content a bit more emotional. Okay. Yeah. So again, going back to the 7 tips: keep it simple, keep it unexpected, catchy, have a connect, and build emotional stories. Okay. Now we'll move on to the last one. I'm sure you've seen this ad as well, right? This is Fevicol, and Fevicol has created ads for the last 20-30 years, which are very popular, right? And it's all about just sticking things. That's what Fevicol does, right? It sticks things together. And I remember so many ads from Fevicol since, like, I don't know, 2 3 decades, and it's all stuck in my head, right? So they are able to create a very creative advertisement. They're able to create very good content which is stuck in my head, right? Like for so long, right? So it's very important that you kind of create content which kind of sticks in your audience's head. That way they will remember it even if they see it ages later, right? So finally, going through the whole 7 tips. First one is simple, second one is unexpected, keep it catchy, have a connect, build emotional stories, and try to create content that sticks with your audience, right? So these are the 7 tips of virality. You can use them to create content, you can use them for ads, you can use them for writing your posts, it can be on social media, it can be images, it can be anything, right? But you can use it across wherever you create content. It doesn't have to be limited to images, it doesn't have to be limited to anything, but you can use it even to write anything at all, right? So I hope this was very helpful. Let me pass on to Cecil, who will talk to you a lot more.
All right, hello again. Thank you, Tarun, for these really exciting 7 tips of virality. So today I want to talk to you about how to make your content go viral specifically for e-commerce, right? So if you have websites, if you have businesses, and you're having to sell online, so how can you actually create and tweak this content for e-commerce? So the first one, not to say it, is just use the success mantra we discussed for all your content. It doesn't have to be like all 7 steps, but if you can use just a couple as well, right? You can describe your brand personality. So if you're selling something quirky, then you can have catchy, taglines, catchy descriptions. You can have unexpected posts on your social media, and you want to stick in people's minds. So first describe what kind of personality your brand has, and then use these tips to write anything you do, whether it's descriptions on your website or your social media content. Moving to the second one, it is very important to keep it visual, right? The power of visual content is really high. So some stats right there: 40% of people respond better to visual info than plain text. So you all must have pictures on your websites. I'm sure if you're selling products, you have all the product photography done. So make sure that you have a lot of images. The second one is infographics can improve website traffic by 12%. So this is another stat. So if you're looking at creating creative ways of content, definitely look at infographics. You can show trends and you can do a lot more things. I'll give you another quick tip here. You can use canva.com. So this is a website which we all use actually to create most of our posters and content online, and they have beautiful templates as well. So just log on to canva.com and you can create infographics and posts very easily, right? And another is 80% of what you see is retained. So as I said, visual is very powerful. Facebook, you remember more the posts and the photographs than the description, right? Conversions increase 86% when videos are used on your landing page. So this is specifically for your website and also actually on social media, because videos are really catching up. So if you've even seen the new Facebook template, it has a separate button for videos. So a lot of people are getting into creating a lot of videos. So you should give it a shot. So whether it's someone speaking or it's a product line, try and keep some videos on your website as well. 20% of words on a web page is read by the average user. So this, I'm sure even you can relate to. When we open any website, we're just scrolling, looking at it. We're just looking at the images and reading only what connects with us, right? So only 20% of words actually are read by a person. So you can focus on keeping it visual and some catchy content around it, so people can actually be focused on that. And the last one is again for your website. Landing pages with videos are 40 times more shareable. So imagine if you want your content to be shared, for it to go viral, then have a lot of videos, put pictures, be creative in that aspect. And all you have to do is just create it. And then you will, go on that journey of it becoming viral and creative. So that was my second point for you. Keep it visual for sure. The third one is to run giveaways. So I don't know if any one of you have tried, but this is a really fun way to actually get followers and people to talk about your brand, right? So if you just see the RX bar on the left, which is they're trying to doing a giveaway, and the process is very simple. Follow me, tag your friends, and tell me your favorite flavor. That's about it. So you can do this for all your products as well, where you can just ask people to follow you, tag their friends, and tell them your favorite memory, or your favorite, tag your favorite t-shirt or something like that. So you can go across that, and then you can give small giveaways. So if you see, Klook India does this a lot as well, and they also promote people who win. So if you were to select a winner and send them like a bag of goodies, you can even showcase them on your page. So when that happens, what happens is, the people who are tagged on this get really excited and they share it on their pages, and it just keeps sharing, which is your way to virality and getting popular. So giving some giveaways and gamifying it a little bit, having small contests and other things can actually keep you fresh in people's minds. So that's another tip, give some giveaways and have contests. The fourth one is to use user-generated content. So what do I mean by user-generated content is, not everything is what you should write, right? It's difficult for us to come up with content day in and day out. Like even if you want to just post an image, you need to think about, what descriptions do I write? What do I write about this? But what you can do is, on your social media pages, you can look at what other people are saying, and anything that resonates with you, feel free to share it. So here, what we as a company also do, like we do write and do a lot of videos, but we also share things. Like the left one was about LinkedIn had done this, new study about how coping with remote micromanagers, and we really resonate with it because we run, sessions on compassionate leadership. So we went right in and we shared it, right? And we shared it and we said what we believe in this. And even the left one, we share this beautiful poem by Maya Angelou. Now coming to e-commerce as well specifically, what you do in this domain of user generated content is share reviews. So if someone has actually reviewed your product else, you can share those reviews. You can if people have taken photos with your products, and this is very common on Instagram, you can actually just share those stories. You can ask people to tag you, right? So you can share that. And even like if a lot of people send reviews on WhatsApp, and you should ask for reviews. So if you're not doing this before, always ask people for feedback. So once you get that feedback, you already have content that you can share, and that builds your credibility, right? That now people know, oh wow, they're getting 5 stars. Oh wow, they're saying so many nice things about them. So definitely sharing user-generated content, sharing reviews and pictures of people can really, build your credibility. And yeah, so we have a poll here. So let us see if any one of you tried making dalgona coffee on the poll. So did you try it? It tasted amazing, or did you try and it tasted horrible, or you were like, oh, I'm too classy to follow any such popular trends? I made dalgona coffee. To be honest, the first time it was okay. The second time it was really bad. Like I had a stomach upset. So, all right. There are too many people, like 57% say too classy to follow popular trends. But we have 9 people who tried it and had a mix of, yeah, it was okay, or it sucked really. Awesome. Let's share these results to our audience. Yes, so we have too many people who did not try this trend, but I'm sure if you've heard of it, it went super popular. So on this, I want to just bring about how you can use popular hashtags, right? So we had one hashtag by WHO, Safe Hands, where they said, okay, washing hands, the right way of actually washing hands, and a lot of celebrities took to Instagram and Facebook to show the 20-second washing hand technique. And we also had I saw a lot of small businesses as well, where founders were, actually taking these videos and using the hashtag, and they actually got a lot of viewers and follows. So that was one, and even Dalgona Coffee. So if any of your employees are trying out any of these trends, feel free to just snap it and share it online with the hashtags, because whether we like it or not, hashtags really work, right? And I saw a lot of companies actually doing these fitness hashtags also over the lockdown. So they got all their employees to send short videos of them working out at home, and that they actually shared on all social media platforms with hashtag getting fit and getting fit India and all of that. So using popular hashtags and challenges can actually bring your brand up there, and people know that you're kind of trendy, right? You know what's happening in the world and you are in the groove of things. So those were our top 5 things. So we gave you 7 tips to make your content go viral, and we gave you 5 tips to actually work on your e-commerce strategies. So yes, that's from us. So I will stay on this slide for 20 seconds if you want to make any notes, but I'm sure we'll send you the recording of this as well.
Thank you, Cecil and Tarun, for like really great tips and tips, specific for some of our audience. We have some questions that have come up, how do you apply the tips for a more B2B setup, like more formal languages? Like, how do we take the virality tips?
Sure. So this actually, the virality tips, right? They work really well for B2B in the sense of when you say keep it simple, right? You don't have to go out there and create a lot. Like if you see a lot of retail pages or Amazon and all that, they just keep it very language which is understood by everybody. It's formal, not really like, hey, cool dude or anything, but this is what we're selling. This is how we're doing. So keeping it simple in a structured, formal way can actually, create that kind of content that sits with people, that connects with people. Also, another great thing for B2B is keeping it local. So if when we spoke about, keeping it customized and connecting with your audience, so that way, if you're able to use the language and you connect with people with your images, that will keep it professional as well as connect with people. So I know we want to have like a B2B brand image, but also connecting with people is extremely important.
So the other things you can do with B2B is, something we tried in LinkedIn, wherein we work with a lot of different brands, right? And they wanted to do a lot of B2B, be it hiring, be it marketing. You can do things like, thought leadership, right? Wherein you again follow the same techniques that we mentioned here, like, keep it simple, find it catchy, but have a thought leadership. By thought leadership, what I mean is, something wherein your users will benefit from, right? Let's say you are in e-commerce. You can talk about how, say, Amazon is taking over a lot of e-commerce stuff, or how different industries are reacting in different ways to the coronavirus, or things like this, which kind of brings in something which your audience really connects with, would really want to know. But these are your thoughts, your opinions that you like. Recently we did this quick video of how you can run online workshops by using a lot of interactive tips. Cecil gave out 5 different tips. So that is an example of thought leadership, and B2B users really like that, because what really happens in this case is you're telling them that, oh yeah, you know this content, you are an expert in this, and you're giving out what you know as content itself, right?
So more like creating actionable content that people can take mileage on. So
Yes,
exactly,
yes.
exactly, yeah.
okay. So we have one more question here. Like big brands, yes, they already have an audience. But what about smaller brands that they are like, trying to build their followers? Like, what tips do you all have for them?
Yeah, so I'll just give a quick
It's a tough
example.
one.
So, yeah. Yeah, so I think I was trying this lockdown. So, like all of us got into a lot of these cooking and all of that. So I was like, okay, let me try and build a channel and get followers like organically. Let me just try that out. So with my experience in the past 3 weeks, I think I've been using definitely a lot of hashtags and also understand being there in the system. So what a lot of these big companies also do is they're always replying to people. They're always, liking, having, conversations with real people. So if you're able to actually, use those right hashtags, one, talk to people honestly, like have those honest conversations, do a lot of videos, just, get like Instagram lives or, all of that can actually increase your followers, because that is where people will come in and people have time now to actually listen to it. They're signing up for a lot of things, so you can use it to grow your follower base. To add.
I think even videos, right? Like doing a lot of videos gets a lot of traction. We've seen that in our company itself. We used to put a lot of posts. We used to put a lot of different links, articles, and stuff like that. But nothing beats videos. Like we've even got sales with videos, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, videos are the best way to consume content, at least at this point where you have really good internet and you have devices all over. So making quick videos about whatever you're doing, or it could be again quick interviews of somebody in the industry. Like videos definitely make a lot of sense. We've seen that as an example ourselves.
You need to strategize for sure. You need to be like, in this month I'm going to do one video, I'm going to post 3 posts a week, and I'm going to just be on system. I'm going to post on Instagram, I'm going to post on LinkedIn, I'm going to post on Facebook. So if you just have to be consistent with your efforts, it's not an easy one-time win, but if you are consistent, you will see the results in a year or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does take time, and we have to have like a proper strategy and like understand who our target audience is, and tailoring our hashtags as well as our content to it. I think we will get there. But yes, you need to be patient. I think yeah, that's like the biggest challenge. Okay, this is one question where a lot of our customers, like the commerce customers, ask. Like there are so many platforms. Like we have Instagram, we have Facebook, Twitter. So what do you suggest for B2B? Which platforms would you suggest people, and B2C? So
yeah, so very question. Also, again, as you Kritika already said, it's your target audience. Like, who is your audience? That really, really matters in defining how consistent you are in your efforts of the platform. So definitely B2B, hands down. We'll say LinkedIn. That really works. Like just being, sometimes we feel, oh my God, like people are looking at us this professionally. If you post something, what are people going to think? But leaving all those baggages, if you just, there talking, connecting with people, networking, sharing your thoughts, and as a thought leader, that can get you business and a very credible brand very fast. So that's definitely for B2B. And for Instagram, I think is very, very popular for B2C mediums as well, especially if you have audiences or a target audience which is younger. So Instagram works there. Facebook, I think, is for a little, not too young, but a little older, a middle segment audience. If your brand caters to that, then being consistent on Facebook and even using Facebook groups to start posting things and promote yourself. So that, like, each medium has different kinds of people on it. So realizing that and strategizing around it will be good.
okay, thank you. I mean, that's true. Our target audience and how our messaging is very important. Okay, we have one last question. Any tips for marketing your products on LinkedIn specifically? So
Sure. Yeah. So LinkedIn has a lot of different, ways of advertising. So definitely, firstly, you would have to do is create a company page, which is free. So I would say the first step, you will go and create your brand and your company page on LinkedIn, and there you start posting consistently. And you can also do paid advertisements, wherein you have these sponsored updates, which are kind of in line with your news feed. So those work really well. They're the best ad formats I've ever seen, and you get the highest number of clicks on those. So if you were to use any one LinkedIn advertising format, I would say sponsored updates. So you can create some of these updates and advertise on LinkedIn. They might be a little expensive, but sponsored updates is comparatively lower, and you can do it on your own very easily. So that is something I would suggest. Also, it would help if like on these company pages, the networking is very, very high on LinkedIn. So if you're able to reach out to customers, talk to them directly, and sell your B2B, like you can have a lot of B2B deals on LinkedIn.
Also, LinkedIn has this great lead capture landing pages, which works as landing pages. I'm sure especially for e-commerce clients, you want to sell your products and then you want to probably drive them to your website. But if you're thinking of getting leads so you can sell B2B stuff, that's also a very good way to do it, because it's very, very simple. It captures the contact details and the credentials of the audience who are interested in your ads very easily. Again, you can use sponsored updates, or you can use these 300 plus 250 ad banners, and then drive them through your lead capture landing pages. And that's one strategy as well that you can try out.
Yeah, I mean, very specific strategies for LinkedIn. I mean, thank you. I didn't know about that. I mean, I said last question, but someone has asked a different one. How to use hashtag Dalgona Coffee for their travel website post in Instagram to make it viral? Is it going to contradict each other? As in, like, what they want to know is how can you take an irrelevant hashtag and turn it to fit into their brand?
Yeah. So what also, when you talk about brands, right? Like when you have your Instagram page or any page like that, it's you talking about your products, but it's also very important to talk about the company and the people in the company. So how I would suggest using this hashtags is, if any of your employees, or if you have tried to make anything like that, or use any of these popular trends, so using those to actually post to say what you as a company, because people really love people in the company. Like, they're talking to people, not like a brand. Like, I know for Fire.fly, like Tarun and Cecil are more credible than the company itself sometimes, right? So it's the people who make a company. So I would say, like, it is important, like with these hashtags, or even just generally, to post things about how BTS, like behind the scenes shots of what you're doing. So BTS is again a very common popular hashtag. So you can use some of these to bring out the culture of your company. Like pets at work is another very famous, like people who get pets to work. So that just shows that such a beautiful culture the company has. So you can show this with the people in the company, some of these hashtags. Definitely, like having contradictory is not going to work really well, and people are going to be like, oh, this is not relevant. But if you're able to tie it down beautifully with your company culture, is something that you can work on.
I think with hashtags, you basically need to tell a story, right? Like, take something which is probably irrelevant and tie it back to something that is relevant to your audience, and that's where the storytelling bit comes in.
Yeah. So basically, we are putting a face to the brand and helping us relate directly to the people. I think that's a very good point you guys brought up. Okay, I think that's it. I mean, I see no more questions. Thank you, Cecil and Tarun, for taking the time. I mean, you can see the email addresses here, so you can email Cecil for any questions that you might have about the presentation. And any other questions, you can email marketing@zohocommerce.com. So as I had earlier mentioned, we have integrated with ShipRocket, who are shipping all throughout India. So if you guys need any shipping solution, just email to us and we will help you. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. See you all.
Bye.